We are going to review the most important recommendations and advice for surviving a flood, whether you are at home or caught in your car. First part, flood in the home. If you live in a flood zone, stay aware of weather alerts. On alert days, do not stay at home. Go to a relative's house or a hotel. Just in case a flood catches you by surprise, have a family plan that includes evacuation routes and meeting points. Have an emergency kit with drinking water, non-perishable food, a flashlight, batteries, a first aid kit, and important documents in a waterproof bag. Consider having ropes, a folding ladder, and a sledgehammer at home, as these objects can be useful if an emergency evacuation is required or to save someone trapped. If you are at home and water starts to enter, turn off the electricity and gas to avoid accidents. Try to contain the entry of water at doors and windows using towels, blankets, sandbags, etc. If possible, move valuables to higher floors or place them on elevated furniture. Monitor the water level, and if it rises rapidly, evacuate the whole family or go up to the roof if evacuation is not possible. Whenever possible, do not walk, swim, or drive in flooded areas. The water may be contaminated and hide hazards such as electrical cables or strong currents. When the danger has passed, document the damage for insurance by taking photos and notes. Avoid using electricity until authorities confirm it is safe. As soon as possible, to reduce health risks, dry, clean, and disinfect the affected areas. During cleanup, wear water boots and gloves to avoid injuries and cuts. Wounds that come into contact with floodwater can quickly become infected, as these waters are often contaminated with bacteria and fecal matter. In addition, injuries caused by debris and rusty objects in the water increase the risk of tetanus. Ventilate with doors and windows open to dry out moisture, as mold can develop quickly in damp places. Mold can cause respiratory problems, allergies, and worsen asthma and other respiratory illnesses. Remove water-damaged material, such as carpets and mattresses, if they cannot be disinfected. Consume only drinking water and food in good condition, discarding those that have been in contact with contaminated water, as ingesting contaminated water or food that has been in contact with it can cause gastroenteritis, infectious diarrhea, and hepatitis A, among other diseases. Especially wash kitchen utensils that have been in contact with floodwater. Second part, flood while in the car. Driving in a flooded area is dangerous and should be avoided whenever possible. Find an alternate route or park in an elevated area and wait for the situation to improve. You should know that when the water reaches halfway up the wheel, it becomes difficult to control the car, especially if the current is strong. And if it exceeds the height of the wheel, the car can be swept away by the water currents. Even if it doesn't seem very deep, never drive into a flooded area, since the water will be murky and you can't tell if it has eroded and the bottom is deeper than it appears. If, despite everything, you find yourself in an unavoidable situation driving surrounded by water, try to get out of the flooded area. Use a low gear, such as first or second, to maintain high RPMs and low speed, but constant and without stopping. This helps prevent water from entering the engine and stalling it, and maintains better control. Use the brakes gently and brake in advance if you need to stop. Braking sharply can cause the car to skid on the water. Play with the clutch so that even when braking, the car is at high RPMs, and thus water cannot enter through the exhaust pipe. When exiting the water, lightly apply the brakes to ensure they are working properly. If your car stalls because water has entered it, you should not start it, because water may have entered critical parts of the engine and electrical system. Starting it can cause a short circuit in the electrical system and serious and costly damage to the engine, since engines are designed to compress air, not water. For these reasons, it is advisable not to try to start the car and instead call a tow truck to take it to a mechanic. A professional can check the car, make sure it is dry, and that there is no engine damage before restarting it. Another situation could be that you are unable to get out of the flooded area, and in addition, the water level rises and you lose control of the car. In that case, unbuckle your seatbelt and exit through the door opposite the current. If the water prevents you from opening the door, get out through the window. It is very possible that the water has created a short circuit or electrical failure and the windows will not open. In this case, break it. It is advisable to carry emergency tools such as a window breaker hammer and a seatbelt cutter. You can also use the metal rods from the headrests to break a window. You also have the option of breaking the rear window, but never the front windshield, as it is more resistant and is built so that it cannot break into loose pieces. Once we have managed to get out, we must climb onto the roof of the vehicle in order to be more visible and accessible to rescue teams and to analyze the situation and assess possible escape routes. Depending on the situation, you have several possible options. You can stay on the roof of the car if the water is not rising rapidly, the current is low and the vehicle seems stable, or move away from the car if the current is not dangerous, and you have a clear route to a safe place. If the current is very strong, the current could be more dangerous than staying momentarily on the roof to assess the most opportune moment to escape. Observe possible fixed, resistant, high and nearby locations, such as a house or a tree to which you can swim with the current if the car sinks. If you decide to swim, it is very important to look for a landmark and swim diagonally with the current with extreme caution. Never fight the current, swim with it. Avoid swimming long distances and stay close to floating or stable objects that you can hold on to in case the water sweeps you away. One last possibility is that you have not been able to get out of the car or break the window and the car is flooding. The water pressure prevents you from opening the door until the interior is also flooded. Breathe the last pockets of air left in the ceiling, and when the car is full of water, you can open the door. Stay calm to be able to hold your breath long enough to open the door and get out.